So in this video, I'm going to tell you why I sold my Dragon Ball Sparking Zero physical copy for the PlayStation 5 and what I learned from it and what you can learn from it as well. So I actually went on to a marketplace about 2 weeks ago and I started posting the ads for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Here in Canada, our dollar is not worth as much as American dollars, so it's about 30% less. So after tax, I paid $102 at Walmart for this game, and Walmart actually only had 2 copies of this game, physical copies. And I had to ask the manager, to see if he could just check if he had anything, because he said he only had 1 copy and that's it, and they sold it. I said, "Are you sure there isn't a second one?" And he actually went all the way in the back between 2 video game aisles. It was a very narrow passageway there in the dark. He went all the way in the back, and it looks like an employee had hidden that second last copy, either to protect it or to, I guess, buy it for himself or themselves. But either way, I was able to get this amazing copy. I was so happy because I didn't pre-order it. I didn't intend to buy the game. I am a big Dragon Ball fan of the anime, but I think if you're a fan of the anime, you don't have to be a fan of the games. And if you are a fan of the anime, you can be a fan of one game and not another game. All games are different. I wanted to see what all the hype was about, and I bought into the hype. I got the physical copy. The reason why I got the physical copy was because I had a feeling. I had done some videos about the hype cycles of video games, right? Like Naruto Storm Connections, Naruto Storm 4, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer. There's a lot of video games, right? Jump Force, a lot of different video games, right? Where they, especially Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Storm Connections, they all had the same like rise and fall, almost instantaneous rise and fall of hype cycles, right? So it was like a 2 week window where the game goes crazy usually, and then it just drops. And Jujutsu Kaisen is like a really bad outlier too, because it's even worse than anything, pretty much. But Connections, Naruto Storm Connections, and I didn't expect Dragon Ball Sparking to be that bad. I had a feeling like I wasn't gonna like it. I had bought JoJo's Battle R, and I bought Demon Slayer, and I only played those. I played JoJo's for like maybe 3 days, and then I never touched it again. And it's been like a year. So I spent, $125 Canadian on that, and I never played it except for just a couple days at the beginning. And Demon Slayer, I played for about a month, and then I never played it again. Literally, never again. And it's like that was also $120, maybe 125. So it's like $240, $250 Canadian, which is quite a bit of money. That's about 200 American, right? And it's like I wasted all that money. I wasted time. I bought into the hype cycle. I became like a blind consumer that just bought it just because it's an anime that I liked, right? I like all those animes. I like JoJo's, I like Demon Slayer, I love Dragon Ball, and I didn't want that to happen again, and I didn't want to get blindsided. So I ended up basically playing the game for like, I don't know, maybe like a week or so. I think I had it for maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. I didn't really like play it that long, maybe about a week or something. And even in the time that I had it, like maybe the 7 to 10 days that I had it, I didn't play it most of those days, like maybe half of the days or something, and like, so I was playing it, when I was playing it, I was playing it like all the time. And then I just kind of just thought it wasn't as good as people were saying. And no one was saying it online. And it was kind of driving me crazy a little bit, because I'm like, wait, nah, like, it's not that I love Storm 4 and I'm glazing for it or whatever. I think it's way better just because I have a bias. That's not what it is. I actually don't even really like Storm 4 or Connections that much, but I think in the grand scheme of things, how the majority of people look at anime games and like what it actually is in terms of mechanics and how it works, I just think it's the better game. And unless they completely change Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, time is not going to change that, in my opinion, right? Yes, the people that like it are going to like it, but the mechanics of the game are not that in depth. They're not that great. They're not that consistent. There's a lot of randomness, and there is a lot less satisfaction in Sparking Zero than there is in the in-depth mechanics at a high level at Storm 4 Connections, Storm 2 Generations, Storm 3 Revolutions. Like, all of those games are much better games, I can already tell. And the only reason why I'm saying it is not because I'm glazing for the game and it's off the charts or whatever. It's because I played the heck out of those games and I mastered them to an insane level. I'll say too, like I think when I was playing Zenitsu in Demon Slayer, I really enjoyed that a lot more than when I was playing anything in Sparking Zero. Now I love the anime, I love the characters, but like they're just very one-dimensional or two-dimensional, whatever. There isn't a lot of complexity and depth to those characters, and there's a lot of copy and paste going on. And I just don't feel or have a great feeling when I play that game. And I think a lot of people had that, but they weren't able to say it because a lot of people were still in the honeymoon phase, or still are even, and a lot of those people are attacking me, and that's fine. But the reality is like for the majority of people, right, 84 to 94% of people, like the game is basically dead to us because it's like we got catfished, right? Or we basically we went in to see what all the hype was about, and it wasn't really as good as we thought it was, so we're moving on to other things already, right? Because it doesn't keep your attention, and it's not that great of a game, right? Like what I would say is it could be a very good game, but it's not excellent, right? And that's the other thing. Like IGN, I think, or some rating company rated it a 7, and everyone lost their minds. And I think it was too soon because people were just trying to enjoy the game. But the reality is, like in reality, this game exists between a 7.8 maximum, like a very good rating but not excellent, right? So like a B plus, to like a C, right? Or a C minus at 6. Maybe like a 6.2 to a 7.8. Like almost all majority people in the bell curve, right? Or the average, if you take all the people in the world that play video games and that would play this game, that is where you're going to find that curve. Like this is not a 9 out of 10 game or a 10 out of 10 game. People are totally capping on that. It's crazy. But that's that. The reality is I had another data point, right? It wasn't just the Steam numbers. And I applied the Steam numbers to a rough estimate of the 3 million to get 480,000, right? So like there's that. We don't know exactly. It's a rough estimate, but what I was getting at that you guys didn't know is I thought like you, just like most of you, especially the people that are criticizing me or the people that are really mad at me and that are telling me, "Hey, what's wrong with you, dude?" that are really mad at my videos that I made, the last two videos. Most people liked it, most people have a positive review of it, but this is the thing you don't understand. I was just like you. The game had basically only been out for a week or two, and I tried to sell it. So you can see here, it's like 2 weeks ago, right? I literally was just like you guys. I was high off the copium. I was high off the hype. High off the hype. I said, only person selling a physical copy like, on a massive marketplace in a place where there's quite a few people. I was the only person selling the game. And you would think, oh, it's because everyone else bought it and everyone else is enjoying it. True. But there's still people that really want this game, want a physical copy, and I'm the only one selling it. Seriously. Guess what? Took me, the first guy lowballed me at $60, which is like, I don't know, 60% of what you guys paid for, right? Because I paid 102. And then that didn't go well because I was not gonna just pay 102 and then a week later give him $60 for a game. The only difference is that I opened it out of the wrapping. It's the same game. It's a $102 game. In my head, it was a $102 game, and I wanted to sell it for $100. I thought that was reasonable. To be honest, if everything everyone was saying was true, I could have sold this game for 120 or $140, right? We're talking Canadian dollars, funny money, right? It's like basically 20 or 40% what you guys paid for it, you should be able to sell it for because there's a demand, right? Theoretically, that's how that works. And it's crazy. Like when I'll put ads on this place, like whenever, I don't do it often, but when I put ads on this place, it's like I'll put like a Pokemon card up there just to see what happens, like the new Magikarp or something from Paldea Evolved, and it's like, but a Japanese version, and it's got like 200, 300 views, going crazy, but then keeps getting pushed back down to like page 20, but people are still finding it because there's so much demand for that Magikarp. You would think if there was so much demand for this game, it just came out, the same thing would happen. No, the opposite. It took me a long time. It says here it took me about 6 days or more to finally sell the game. I had 3 people actually contact me. I had a lot of views, but no one actually contacted me. 3 people contact me, right? The second guy was pretty good, but this is what really got me. The second guy was like, the first guy says, I'll give you $60 out of, when I paid 102. And this second guy says, I'll give you 70. And we talked forever, dude. And eventually he's like, yeah, I was setting up the meetup to get the $70. And then he says at the last second, everything was set up for the meetup. And he says, hey, sorry for the short notice, but I won't be able to come today. Something came up. If it's still available later this week, I'll be glad, whatever. And I said, thanks for letting me know. Fine. What I ended up doing was changing my ad, right? And I made it $75. So that's 27% off of what I paid. So they're getting a 27% discount for the same game everyone else is playing. This ended up working out. It was super smooth. And for that exact price of $75, so basically a week later, people thought that the game was not worth $80 or 80% of what it was. So take 20% of whatever you paid, right? They thought it was 20, but this one guy, and there's no one fighting this guy, one guy paid 27% less than what I paid for. I thought that was insane. Like, it just kind of showed to me that the interest in the game, the hype for the game, had died off. And honestly, for people like me and many people like me, and it's not just me out here, the game is dead. Like, I do find it interesting, but I'd rather have that $75 in my hand, right? That I can do other things with. Maybe I can get another anime game, or I can get some food. I don't know. I could do something with it, right? And it's like, because it ends up being dead money, and money that you just gave to a company to buy an anime game that you never really played that much, or you're not that into. And it's really sad. So this is another kind of data point, right? The game is not what most people thought it was. I love the game. I want the game to do well. I hope everything turns around and it goes crazy and you guys have the best time of your life and the community grows and it's super positive. But we already know the community is already super negative, that the hype has almost completely died off for the game, if not completely, that the game is dying 100% and that the game is dead for many people and that therefore the game is dead to many people, but it's also not dead. It's also probably will never die, because the problem with the anime games are they become zombified, or go through a zombie or zombification, right? Where there's so much hype and then it falls off, it crashes out, and then it basically goes on life support and there's just a small community supporting it. And it's so funny to me because like everyone blames these casuals, but the casuals are the ones that bankrolled your game. You should be praising I don't know, I don't put myself in there because I'm not really, right? Like I have a great knowledge of the mechanics of the Storm games and of a lot of arena fighters like that. So it's like I can already compare and see where this is going, and I can see that this is not a game for me and that I don't like it and it's not going to be satisfying for me because I'm used to much better like player expression and I'm used to much better combo expression as well, and unique combos and interesting strategies. I don't see the in-depth strategies. I don't see the amazing combos. To me, it's an extremely boring and dry game. Now, for other people, if it isn't, all the power to you. And if you guys get the game that you wanted and this is a dream come true, all the power to you. Nothing but love and respect. But guys, you can't deny that there's no demand for the game anymore, or the demand has been filled, right? Like there's some people that kind of want it, but you don't want it enough to actually buy it. You're saying that you want it, but you're not actually buying it. And you're saying that you're playing it, but the statistics show that you're not actually playing it and you're playing other games. So like you're actively choosing to play another game over this game, meaning the game is not as interesting as people think and it's not captivating your attention. That even fooled me. I was kind of devastated when I couldn't get what I paid for back, or even, maybe get 80%, that's fine, because it's the same game, right? But I ended up having to go down to 27%, which was crazy, but it is what it is. That was what the game was worth. Just about a week or two later after release, maybe, that is what it was worth. And if I had put the ad out a day or two earlier, I may have gotten 80 or 90 or $100, but no one felt that they needed to do that, and no one was willing to pay the full amount for the game. They didn't care. They could wait. And if you can wait, that means that is just not worth it for most people. There's definitely like a dead aspect to it, especially in terms of interest.